help you. Joining us in the studio, Seong without glasses. Seong, hello to you.
Because I told you some people might want to see my face.
We made a we've created
I
a
decided
monster.
to wear sunglasses every other, like once or twice a month.
We created a monster.
Hey, you.
Oh my goodness. Oh, everybody's getting Yorkshireized. Seong, our producer, after last week's show, he was like, I think we need to change the name of our segment.
Well, yeah, it should not be a task force, special issue task force, because it means it's going to be disbanded.
No, well, he was saying
sometime soon.
He was like, we should call it special issue dance off or something like that. And I was like, why don't we just call it a special issue club or something? Nightclub. And then he was like, good. Which means you have to dance all the time.
Yeah, I am.
Seong,
I'm fine with that.
I have some beef to settle, though. I'm very upset.
Why?
I'm very upset.
Why are you upset?
Because last week was our 100th day. And then, we had our Jaja moment and we were dancing, we were having fun.
We celebrated together.
Right. We celebrated together. I had a great cake. I heard the next day when the archive was celebrating their fake 100 days, 101st day, I heard you went in and danced there. Did you not dance?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Why did Johan say she came? Someone said you danced there.
No.
Oh, I apologize. Okay.
I was at home taking care of my children.
I was like, why is she dancing in other people's show? She's ours. She belongs to the Culture Inc. Entertainment Agency.
I am part of Culture Inc. I only dance for this show.
Yeah. James says, Seong, what challenge do we have to do to see Seong sing and dance? You don't even have to do a talent. She dances anyways.
I'm a terrible singer.
Are you
I have
really?
to admit, yes.
Okay.
That's why I dance.
What do you want? What do you want James to do for you to be able to dance and sing?
Dance and sing?
Yes. Make him do something crazy.
Promote our shows, our segment. So
I say something crazy.
Crazy? So if 90 people...
90 people?
Yes.
If 90 people tune in?
Yes.
We have
at the same time.
Okay.
I'll sing and dance.
63 right now, so it has to happen today.
Yes.
90. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 viewers on YouTube.
James, call up your friends.
By today, by the end of this segment, and Seong will sing and dance. We got it. All right, we got 3 topics to talk about today. All eyes on South Korea's National Assembly, also with the cabinet nominees that we saw this week as well. The big one is the confirmation hearing for Prime Minister nominee Kim Min-seok, right? This is happening for 2 days. Started today, happening right now. Let's talk about this.
Yes. One of the most talked about political events this week is the confirmation hearing for Prime Minister nominee Kim Min-seok. And it started at around 10 a.m. this morning, and I believe it's still going on. And second round will take place tomorrow. So tiring. And this confirmation hearing made headlines even before it began, as it proceeded without any witnesses, a very rare case due to a lack of agreement between the ruling and opposition parties. And I watched it live from the beginning, and from the outset, tensions ran very high. And while the Prime Minister nominee Kim Min-seok himself remained calm and composed throughout the swearing in and questioning, lawmakers from both sides clashed intensely. And the opposition People Power Party launched fierce attacks early on, while the ruling Democratic Party defended the nominee, urging that questions focus on his vision for state affairs, not the controversies surrounding him.
Yeah, I mean, any confirmation hearings are going to be like this, right? The ruling party is going to go, hey, remember your policy on this? Hey, tell us how good it is. Stuff like this. Like they'll feed you questions, whereas the opposition party will be like, you did this, you did that, and this was controversial. Hey, back in like January 21st of 1986, you did
You've
this.
done this, yes.
Right, all this stuff. They'll dig into that stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, it still eventually gets confirmed. But it's. I mean, we saw this even during the previous Yoon administration, right? But let's talk about Kim Min-seok. Many Koreans, especially the older generation, they remember as DJ's kid.
Yes.
And DJ, of course, Kim Dae-jung back in the days, a former president. He was a student activist in the 80s. He even served prison time for his involvement in the pro-democracy movement.
Yes, he entered politics at a young age and rose quickly, but his career hit a rough patch. He faced criticism for switching party allegiance during the 2002 presidential election. That's when President Roh Moo-hyun was elected as president. And also he had legal issues related to political funds. Though later he claimed that he had been targeted by politically motivated prosecutors at the time, but the issue still remains controversial. And as a result, he spent 18 years out of mainstream politics before returning as a lawmaker in 2020. And I think it's a very unique background because he entered politics at young age of 27 and was once considered a so-called rising star, but he quickly fell out of the political mainstream and spent nearly 2 decades in the political wilderness. Then in 2020, he made a comeback, and just 5 years later, he now stands as a nominee for prime minister once again. So it's very dynamic. And President Lee Jae-myung, who nominated Kim Min-seok himself, has extensive legislative experience, he said, and a strong background in welfare policy. So yeah, he's expecting a lot from Kim Min-seok.
Again, the confirmation hearings here in Korea, they're not just about policies. There's a huge, unique cultural element to this. And again, it does often lead to heated political battles, right?
Yeah, sometimes the hearings are less about a nominee's qualifications and more about uncovering personal history, family issues, or financial records. That's why we don't want our sons to become president, right? And it can get very personal and even sensational. And media coverage adds fuel to this fire, as these hearings are often broadcast live and analyzed in real time, sometimes turning into political theater. And that's why critics argue that Korean confirmation hearings can become more about public shaming than public service. But on the other side, sometimes candidates are criticized for their insincere attitude, such as neglecting to submit necessary documents or not answering the questions sincerely. So some changes seem necessary when considering such criticism, but still, the system plays a very important role in Korean democracy as it holds a powerful figure accountable and adds transparency to the appointment process.
Now, obviously, the nomination process for Kim Min-seok is going to be the big one, as he's the prime minister nominee.
Yes.
But there's a number of cabinet reshuffles because right now, technically, the cabinet consists of from the former Yoon administration because of the transition. There is no transition, basically. And the reshuffles right now are in the spotlight.
Right. This week, not just Kim Min-seok, but a number of cabinet reshuffles are in the spotlight. For example, An Gyu-baek, a 5-term lawmaker, has been nominated as defense minister. And it is the first time since the May 16th military coup in 1961 that a civilian, not a military officer, has been nominated as a defense minister. And also the current agriculture minister, Song Mi-ryong, will stay on, which is also an unusual move. And at the same time, I guess this move is also seen as part of President Lee Jae-myung's pragmatic approach. It's like if someone is ready, he's willing to work with them. And the new nominee for labor minister is Kim Young-hoon, a former leader of the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions, is also notable. His current train engineer, and reports say he was actually operating a train at the moment his nomination was announced. So the presidential office says they expect him to push for stronger labor rights, including reducing workplace accidents or introducing a 4.5-day work week like you and Arirang talked about yesterday.
Right.
So it's not just about one confirmation hearing. We're looking at a broader shift in leadership under President Lee's new administration.
Yeah, so right now, President Lee Jae-myung has kind of opened up for, I guess, people like the Korean people to write messages to the presidential office and things like that. And because the cabinet reshuffle is happening, they had a lot of people kind of recommending certain people for certain ministerial positions. And the big one was the culture minister.
Oh.
And so people were like,
SJ should be the next culture minister.
Can I be
You
a
can't
minister?
because you're
I
not a
can't.
Korean citizen.
I'm American.
You're an American.
I can't. I can't be a minister here. This is terrible stuff. But they put like things like Yoo Jae-suk.
Oh,
IU as a culture minister. I think GD was also one of the people that they had recommended as the culture minister. But we'll see what happens here. But this is interesting to leave the current agriculture minister from the former administration.
Yes.
And again, even during the first day, with all the meetings that President Lee Jae-myung was holding with the necktie, right? Blue and red, combining, saying that, we need to work together and let our differences aside here.
The National Assembly is really divided and the society is really divided. So the role of the Prime Minister will be very important.
All right, we're going to talk about other hot issues making the headlines and what everybody's talking about in the offices. But first, let's take a listen to a song here from Cherry Bullet with Q&A.
Q1 이름 뭐야 큐트 몇 살이야 메신저 아이디 궁금해 미칠 것 같니 Q3 어디 살아 Q4 혈액형은 너의 두 눈에 호기심 정말 가득해 Hey boy 네 질문도 답변하지만 왜 자꾸만 끌리니 관심 없는 척해 빙빙 돌려 말해 살짝 튕기기 나만의 앞으로 잘 부탁할게 나를 알고 싶어질 때 20고개를 넘듯이 내게만 몰래 질문을 say 묻고 답해 바로 물어볼래 답 말해줄게 어찌 그렇게 계속해봐 미소 물어보기도 전에 왠지 알 것 같은데 너의 이상형도 너의 취향까지도 두근거리는 맘만큼 예리하게 추리해 놓치지 않아 널 마치 큐션 같은 너 궁금해 말해줘 너의 신상 하나부터 열까지 둘만의 Q&A 앞으로 잘 부탁할게 나를 알고 싶어질 때 20고개를 넘듯이 내게만 몰래 질문을 say 묻고 답해 바로 물어볼래 답 말해줄게 어찌 그렇게 계속해봐 미세도록 우리 둘만의 Q&A 맞출까 말까 숨겨볼까 애가 타는 너의 입술 말할까 말까 뭐 해줄까 지금 너도 응답해 신호를 보낼게 둘만의 짜릿한 Q&A 뭐 어때 서로가 통할 때 빠르게 대답하죠 앞으로 잘 부탁할게 나를 알고 싶어질 때 20고개를 넘듯이 내게만 몰래 질문을 say 묻고 답해 난 물어볼래 답 말해줄게 어찌 그렇게 계속해봐 미세도록 우리 둘만의 Q&A
Hey! Stop looking at the clock! We still got more work at the Culture Inc.
That was Cherry Bullet with Q&A as the confirmation hearings are happening. Bruce says, ask Trump for a job, SJ. Just put on a mega hat first. Oh my goodness, I could just imagine.
And Yang Grum said he's going to vote for USJ if you're nominated as a culture minister.
Well, you don't even vote for a culture minister. I can't even run for a president. I can see Trump. Here's SJ. He's from New York.
You're
And,
getting better. Trump impersonation.
I don't know. He doesn't. Seems like a criminal for me, but we'll see what happens. We talked about the confirmation hearing, but we're going to get serious here because speaking of Trump, by the way, the Middle East, we got to talk about the Middle East. Very concerning what was happening with the Middle East right now. Iran, Israel, back and forth, sending missiles. Now, Trump had come out earlier today saying that Iran and Israel had agreed to a ceasefire, and he's making it seem like he is behind all this. Not been a big fan of what some of the stuff that Trump has been saying in regards to this. I'm going to get serious with this. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, so the situation is very complicated. Recently, there's been a series of military strikes and counterattacks between Iran and Israel, and the U.S. attacked an Iranian nuclear facilities, dubbed Operation Midnight. And in a retaliatory measure, Iran fired missiles at U.S. base in Qatar with an advance notice. So Trump thanked Iran for weak response and prior notice, and Trump also made a surprise announcement that Israel and Iran had agreed to a ceasefire, but missile exchanges between the two countries continued, resulting in numerous casualties. So, in conclusion, so far, a ceasefire has been declared and partially enacted, but missile and airstrikes continue on both sides. The truce remains fragile and contested, I can say. And that's a serious concern for countries like South Korea, both diplomatically and economically. And most urgently, it's a matter of citizen safety. And according to South Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there were 56 Korean nationals residing in Iran, and many have evacuated to neighboring countries, but around 70 to 80 people are still in the region. And in Israel, the situation was also tense. Unfortunately, on Monday, 45 Korean nationals, including 44 citizens and one U.S. passport holder, successfully evacuated to Egypt by bus, and the operation was coordinated between embassies in Israel and Egypt, as well as Korean community organizations.
I don't think people know how close we could have gone to a third world war right now. Netanyahu is doing things he should not be doing.
Right.
All right. He called it a preemptive strike on Iran because, they need to strike the nuclear facility and stuff. Netanyahu for 30 years he's been saying Iran is weeks away from being able to create nuclear weapons.
Right.
For 30 years. You know how many nuclear weapons Iran has? Zero. Israel has like 30 or something like that. Israel has more nuclear weapons than Iran. He's been saying that Iran has the capability. No, Iran has no nuclear weapons. And then what happens is he calls on Trump to strike the nuclear facilities because the Fordo nuclear website, that's the biggest one in Iran. Israel doesn't have the capabilities to hit it. And so what does Trump do? Trump, number one, promised to end Ukraine war.
Right.
That hasn't happened. He's
on
promised,
day one.
On day one, in one day. I'm going to do what Sleepy Joe isn't able to do. I'm going to be finishing this
But
war.
it's making the situation even worse.
Even worse. He said he's going to resolve the issue in the Middle East. Nope. He's actually almost started a third war with this by attacking Iran. Luckily, though, things have not escalated further than what it is right now. But going back to the evacuations, this really highlights South Korea's overseas crisis response system.
Yes. During emergencies, the government serves a very important role. It activates a global protection network that includes embassies, local Korean associations, and even chartered transport if necessary. And a well-known example was the miracle operation during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Korea evacuated 378 local partners and their families, people who had worked with Korean aid missions. And the government also operates the Safe Travel app in Korean, 해외 안전 여행 app, and a real-time alert system to provide travelers with safety updates and contact support in emergency. And it's an example of how seriously Korea takes its duty to protect its citizens abroad.
The implications, though, of an Iran Israel conflict. This goes beyond evacuation plans. I mean, we saw President Lee Jae-myung chairing his first senior aides meeting this week, focusing on how this crisis could impact Korea's economy and national security, especially given the fact that initially what was supposed to happen is they were going to close off the Strait of Hormuz, which would have been devastating for the global economy. Let's talk about this.
Yes, a key concern is the possible closure of the Strait of Hormuz, like you said, which is, according to experts, highly unlikely when considering Iran's own economy and security issues. But still, we have to note that nearly 99% of South Korea's Middle Eastern oil imports pass through this narrow waterway. So, though for now, the chances are low, but if the situation gets worse and the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, it would disrupt global oil supplies and send prices soaring, hitting Korea's economy hard. And luckily, KOSPI is doing well. It actually closed at above 3,100 mark today for the first time in 3 years and 9 months. But it's still true that we have to keep a close tab on the economic impact caused by this Middle East crisis.
I check the gas prices on a daily basis because I fuel up so much, and the gas station that I go to all the time, it was at 1,015 won per liter. And as soon as this news came out with U.S. striking Iran and then the Strait of Hormuz closure and stuff like that, it went up to 1665 overnight, very quickly. Whether or not, I know that global oil prices have been selling down after what happened recently, but there is a major reason why President Lee has not decided not to attend the NATO summit, right? And instead, you had his national security advisor, Ri Song-nak, who's going to go in his place.
Yes, that's in line with his balanced diplomacy strategy, not favoring one side too strongly, but responding to current realities and acting in Korea's national interest. And he has also have to keep a close eye on domestic economic situation. And, Korea's relationship with the Middle East is longstanding economically. We've relied heavily on oil from the region, and diplomatically, there's a history too, like Seoul Street in Tehran and Tehran Boulevard here in Seoul. They were named in 1977 as a symbol of friendship, but that relationship has been tested due to U.S.-led sanctions and all these frozen assets and stuff. But for South Korea, this Middle East crisis isn't just a distant headline. It's deeply connected to issues like energy security, trade, diplomacy, and even the safety of Korean citizens abroad. And I really hope ceasefire will be reached at early date. We're already suffering major wars.
There's going to be a lot of ceasefires. There needs to be ceasefires right now, right? There needs to be a ceasefire in Gaza. There needs to be food aid coming into Gaza. There needs to be there needs to be dialogue.
Right.
It's what needs to happen. But unfortunately, apparently dialogue is hard to come about when you got somebody leading the way as the mediator.
So many wars, and we're losing precious lives.
Yeah, that's the thing. Children, women being killed, right? We're going to go into our last topic in just a bit, but let's take a listen to a song here from aespa with Savage.
Oh my gosh, don't you know I'm a savage? I'm a killer, 널 깨라. 아직도 가리고 환각을 펼치 no fella. We holla. 두렵지 않아 no 희투하라. 날 믿어 너리 fake on me. 준비가 안 된 무대로 뭘 하나 fake on me. Got everybody 막 같은 me. 숙취를 느끼게 멘탈을 흔들어 놔. 싸늘한 관점 무너져 I 그는 못 참아 say no. 두고 보는 좀 savage 너의 dirty한 play 너는 두고 볼 수 없어. 나를 무너뜨리고 싶은 내 환각들이 점점 너를 구축할 이유가 돼. 지금 나를 잡아 아니 나를 더 savage. Get me now, get me now. 이제 내가 너를 잡아 now. I'm a savage. Give me now, give me now. 너의 말이 좀 savage 너의 재선역을 막아 흐트러 놔 빼놔 하지 마라 여긴 바로 광야 너의 시공간은 내 뜻대로 make it break it I'm a savage 널 부셔해줄게 oh, I'm a savage 널 짓밟아줄게 oh, Get me now Get me now 지금 나를 잡아 아니면 너 savage Get me now Get me now 이제 내가 너를 잡아 now I'm savage Give me now Give me now 너의 말이 보여 네 약점 like a rhythm Give me now Give me now My eyes ink 방에 말고 꺼져 savage 위기에 퍼진 널 지켜준 건 너였어 My habits will love you 나의 victory 하나의 sing type 모든 내가 만들어준 기회란 걸 I know your sacrifices My habits will love you 알아 우린 반드시 내 곁들을 찾아줄게 우리 만나고 break it down Savage Savage Yeah Give me now Give me now 지금 나를 잡아 아니면 너 savage Give me now Give me now 이제 내가 너를 잡아 now I'm a savage Give me now Give me now 너의 말이 보여 네 약점 I'm a rhythm Give me now Give me now I think 방에 말고 꺼져 savage What?
That was Espa with Savage. Made It Up says he's halfway through a book called Fear, all about him. He's an absolute clown. By Bob Woodward. I actually have that book. I got as far as to the cover of the book. I didn't get to read it, but I'm looking forward to read it. Bob Woodward is actually very famous for a lot of books on Trump.
By the way, only 55 people are watching now. What's happening here?
Guys, the
I'm
challenge...
dying to dance. Oh my gosh.
She's like the only one that actually wants to do the challenge, guys. 90. I was telling Seong right outside because Ki, our Arirang godfather, he was just bobbing his head to Espa Savage. I was like, Seong, go outside and dance off. She was like,
We only have like 2 minutes left. I can't.
hey, I can't go out. Am I gonna get in trouble if I go? Go. She couldn't do it.
No, I can't.
She's
too 소심해, timid.
It's maybe in a few weeks she'll be brave enough. The same person who says I don't need sunglasses because I need people to look at my face.
Oh, different character. I think different personality like comes into me when I wear sunglasses.
Seo, we talked about some serious stuff, right?
Yes.
Let's get unserial now.
On cereal.
Yes, let's get unserial now. We're talking about BTS.
Yes.
They're back.
They're back.
All the members have now completed their mandatory military service. It seemed like it was going to be forever, right?
Forever. Time flies. I mean, not for
them, not for them.
and the armies, but yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
went
let's
by
talk
really
about this.
quickly.
Is a big one.
For armies, this marks the end of what's often called the military hiatus, or in Korean, 군백기, a word combining military and hiatus. And it's been an emotional journey, not just for the group, but also for the millions of fans who patiently supported them. And in South Korea, all able-bodied men are required to serve about 18 to 21 months in the military, and typically before they turn 30. And yes, that includes celebrities and K-pop idol groups as well. And military service is a deeply rooted institution in Korean society, tied to national identity and social responsibility. So when it comes to public figures, especially male celebrities, how they handle their service often becomes a major public issue. And if someone tries to delay or avoid the service, it can lead to intense backlash. So when BTS announced that they would serve voluntarily and without any public controversy, many Koreans saw it as a respectful choice.
They did the right thing because there was a lot of people, like Army was basically with what BTS did to bring K-pop to the world. They deserve to be exempt from military service. And there was a lot of issues with this. There was a lot of back and forth with this.
Yes.
But they kept quiet throughout the whole time. They said we're going to leave it to the government to do whatever, make the final decision there. And of course, at the time, was it the Defense Ministry? Eventually, is it the Defense Ministry eventually makes the decision, or is it the Justice Ministry? I forget. But anyways, they said no, you still have to go to the military service. They said okay, we're fine with this. They went. And no controversy.
Right.
No controversy.
Yeah, the group's, like you said, the group's global influence is so significant that even some South Korean men who have completed their mandatory military service said they would accept an exemption for BTS. If it's BTS, it's okay. And it's really unusual. But the members themselves, like you said, emphasized fairness and integrity, choosing to fulfill their duty without demanding special treatment. And that's one reason why their service had such a positive impact on domestic public opinion, and it showed that even the world's biggest boy band isn't above civic duty. And now that they've returned, fans are celebrating not only their comeback, but the values they stood for. The phrase 군필돌, meaning military completed idol, carries real weight in Korea. It symbolizes maturity, responsibility, and renewed respect. And also worth noting how fans supported them during their service as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of controversies in the past with certain artists who tried not to go to the military.
We have a very big example
Right,
back in
Steve.
Yes.
Steve was a big issue there. A certain MC Monkey was a big issue.
Oh, right.
Right. I mean, there was a lot.
I totally forgot about that issue.
he's still producing music and things like that. But I mean, it was very controversial how he tried to get out of this.
He's not active on TV or radio.
But then there was like cases with Psy. You know which Psy?
He went twice.
He went twice because I mean
He performed during the military service.
Well, no, he was also caught in a bit of a issue
Yeah.
with some illegal substances, and then he said, "I'm going to go twice." So that people forgave him. He was like, "Oh my goodness, you went to the military twice, right?" What is it, Cha In-pyo, who's a green card holder, U.S. green card holder, said, "I'm going to go to the military."
Yes.
And despite the fact that
After he got married.
after he got married, he still served it, and despite the fact that he's, known for his toothbrushing, acting, and that's about it. He's very famous still. But it's also worth noting how fans supported them during their service, right? Fans didn't demand constant content. They weren't saying, "Hey, we want some content," even though you're in the military. They waited, encouraged each other to stay strong throughout this time.
Yes, sure. And some fan projects even included charity drives, digital archives, and even letters of encouragement shared online. And it was a different kind of fan culture, one that prioritized the artist's well-being and national obligations. And speaking of charitable acts, there's a heartwarming news today involving BTS. Member Suga recently donated 5 billion won to establish a treatment center for children with autism spectrum disorder. And inspired by his donation, fans are also stepping up to contribute. And according to Severance Hospital, as of Tuesday morning today, donations from the general public has surpassed 200 million won just one day after the news of Suga's contribution was announced. So it's a very powerful example of a positive cycle, truly inspiring, I can say.
That was very sweet of Suga.
Sweet like sugar. But it's S-U-G-A.
I know, it's Suga.
Sugar. Sweet like sugar. That was funny.
I'm sorry, you don't have to laugh. Don't worry. Gosh. So now that they're back, right? Now that they're back, the K-pop industry is now bracing for a major ripple effect. Obviously, BTS's return is expected to boost music sales, streaming numbers, concert revenues, not to mention the stock prices of Hybe, although Hybe not happy with what they did with New Jeans. But it's going to go up now.
Yes, and on top of that, let's not forget tourism. BTS fans from around the world often travel to Korea for concerts and to visit meaningful locations, and their comeback could give another big lift to Korea's soft power. And this moment also reaffirms BTS global brand, not just as performers, but as cultural ambassadors who've balanced stardom with civic duty. And it will be exciting to see how they evolve in this new chapter. Each member has grown individually through solo projects and through military service, and their reunion will likely reflect their maturity. And they all, I think, have become real men now after completing the military service. As whether you're an army or just curious about Korean culture, this is a significant milestone. Welcome back, BTS.
Man, Seyoung threw shade at me. She looked at me and goes, now they're real men because, you know, she knows I didn't go to the military.
Yes, military.
She threw a shade at me.
You're still a man, SJ. I respect you.
I have nothing to say. I
You're a
can't
citizen.
respect you. I respect you guys.
Raising 2 children now. I respect you.
It is very difficult,
Yes.
guys. But again,
That's sweet as sugar.
that actually makes me worse. I feel worse. Oh gosh. Anyways, Haeyoung, fun stuff today. We touched upon many different topics that we've all been talking about in the office. Thank you. As always, have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you again on Tuesday.
I'll see you next week.
All right, sending Haeyoung out of the studio. Maybe she'll dance her way out. This is BTS with Fire. 불타오르네.